Hi there, welcome to Tarotland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Capricorn energy. And like usual on this channel, we're going to do two rows. The top row's going to be high vibe Capricorn energy. The bottom row is going to be a more worldly, shadowy Capricorn energy. We've all got our dualistic nature. We can all battle within our Capricorn energy. High vibe Capricorn is putting in the work and effort to free yourself from the things that manipulate you, your more worldly nature. Shadowy Capricorn energy is represented by the devil. We all have to make these decisions in our own Capricorn nature, regardless of what zodiac sun sign we are. We all harness all the zodiac sign traits and characteristics in one of these three ways. High vibe, worldly wise, or kind of shadowy, kind of can't make up our mind way. And for some people, they're struggling within themselves. They might want to live their life differently. They might want to free themselves from some of the ways of viewing life or things in their life. But, you know, when we're going to live life differently, if we make with free will, if we choose this, then we don't choose that. You know, we have to make decisions. Some people are stuck juggling. They can't make a decision. Other people, you know, so some people are battling within themselves. We're going to talk about it from that viewpoint. But there's always going to be some people in the world, in our life, or us, that are done with the debate. And we've learned lessons in life. I have learned what I do like, what I don't like, what is aligned with my truth in some regard. And I'm going to move forward in life differently. And when we do that, our own shadow nature wants us to live life a certain way, which is kind of being left out in the cold. And we have people in our life who would like us to live our life the way we had been living our life, because that's the way they're living their life, and that's how they view their life. You know, we all look at life differently at different times. We heal, we grow, we mature, we face our fears and insecurities at different points in time. So when some people are moving forward in life differently, some other people in the world or in their life won't be. So listen to your intuition about where you're at in the story, how you harness your Capricorn energy, what motivates and inspires and drives you, and the decisions you make, and what motivates and drives some other people. So the reason for the high vibes reading is creation, and it's the reason why the reading came out. We kind of all want to give birth to different things, right? What do we want to manifest in our life? The reason for the bottom row's reading is the Hunger card, which has the big moon behind it, which is the ruling sign of Cancer, and the moon in tarot represents Pisces. You know, are we still caught up in the illusion and the fear? Are we still trying to get other people to love us because we haven't learned to love ourselves? Or have we learned to love ourselves and believe in ourselves and temper our fears and our insecurities? The moon can represent those things that we don't want to deal with. Some people did work through some issues to free themselves from some of the things that manipulated them, and some other people haven't. And then sometimes there's shadowy people in the world that want to be in relationships with loving, nurturing, just, fair, balanced, tempered, giving, nurturing people, but they're not that type of person themselves. But I want to be in a relationship with you without me being that type of person myself. And high vibe people are like, I want to be in a relationship with someone who has freed themselves from some of the same things I have, so I can have equal give and take in a relationship. Because otherwise we can be in an equally imbalanced relationship where one person is giving and the other person is kind of taking. And you could be a very loving, nurturing person. But if we keep getting in relationships with people who I want more, enough is never enough, because I haven't learned to give to myself, I made that your job. You're supposed to give to me. You're supposed to make me feel happy. You're supposed to fill my cup emotionally. You're supposed to make me feel stable and grounded and secure within myself. But for some people, it's like a black void. Because if they never do the work within themselves to kind of love and believe in themselves and emotionally nurture themselves and offer themselves love and compassion and forgiveness to free themselves from the things that manipulate them, those things keep manipulating them, and they're like, no, I can't do that. I'm supposed to be able to get in a relationship with you, and you're supposed to make everything all better. Some people look to drugs and alcohol and things like that to be the answer to their problems. And other people look to other people. You're supposed to be the answer to my problems. The only problem is, if their issues bubble back up again, well then you must not be the right person. You're not doing your job. Because they never took responsibility for their issues to begin with. You were supposed to fix these things. My issues bubbled up. You must be the wrong person. I have to go find someone else to be the answer to my problems. You know, and other people just are kind of self-indulgent. Me. Caught up in the illusion of themselves. It's supposed to be all about me. You're not supposed to have your own dreams. You're not supposed to have your own aspirations. You're not supposed to be your own independent person, because have some lessons to learn about what it means to be in a relationship. And some people can have illusions about what it means to be in a relationship. The whole thing is, whatever the case is, we just need to see the truth. Life's about learning lessons. Some people have freed themselves from their more self-centered, immature, me nature, and they've grown and healed and tempered their ego nature to be a loving, nurturing, more just and fair and emotionally mature person. And some other people haven't. And the people who haven't really don't like it when other people, they might be people who cry wolf. Come help me, oh, come help me, and oh, poor, pitiful me. Oh, I'm so sad. Oh my gosh, those awful people left me. It's like, go cry on someone else's shoulder. Go moan or complain or whatever and find someone else who wants to indulge you in your poor behavior. Grow up. And we've probably all been there at one time or another to some degree, right? Because we've all had growing up to do. We all could have had these things that we wanted to indulge in the world. Oh no, I'm sure that'll make me happy. And we could have had friends and family and relatives that are like, why are you doing that? Oh no. It's in our pride and ego. In our more worldly, animalistic nature, in our ego, we think we know best. And we got some lessons to learn about these things that we have illusions about, that we're sure this is the answer. Everybody has to learn lessons the hard way. And sometimes some people have already learned those lessons and some other people haven't. So let's go look at the bottom row first. We have beginnings, peace, and the unexpected. And then we have a card not showing itself. So when a card's not showing itself, sometimes some people who have illusions about life and have some growing up or healing or maturing to do, they can get in relationships with people and they could think that, all of us, we can get in relationships with people and we kind of think that we view life the same, that we have these same dreams, because Pisces and Cancer energy can be about our dreams that we have. And we just kind of assume that other people are like us. And the peace card kind of reminds me of like a scales of justice card. We have our ideas of what we think is just and fair. We just assume that other people kind of think like we do, and that they would think the things that we think are just and fair, but they could have different ideas of what they think is just and fair. And that's when we don't realize these things that, that some people keep hidden. Or maybe we weren't really listening to our intuition. And in our worldly nature of we want what we want, and we think we're right, and we've got lessons to learn, we go get in these relationships that we think we're going to get the justice we deserve. But then as time goes by, what if one person, I guess this image is kind of making me think of, giving birth to something new. Kind of like, gee, we could have gotten in a relationship. We all viewed life this way, whatever age we were at life and however we perceive life. And for the people who want to keep living their life that way, and they thought you'd want to keep living your life that way, when other people are kind of like, you know what? I think I'm kind of ready to give birth to something new. And I think I'm ready to maybe step out of my comfort zone. And with the light there, it's kind of like listening to your intuition and life-giving energy. We all could have had these ideas at one point in time in our life of how we thought our life was going to go, how we viewed life, and then, things can happen in our life that could be unexpected, and it changes kind of the trajectory of our life, or how we view life, or how we feel about ourselves, and just our consciousness can expand, where we, as we grow over time and mature over time, kind of our perception of the world can expand, and what we believe we're capable of can expand. And when one person does that in a relationship, and that happens to that person, it could definitely be unexpected to the other person, because they thought, well, I thought we were going to always go through life like this. What happened? Why are you viewing life differently? It just kind of could happen for one person and not another person. And it could have to do with this card that we didn't realize maybe that we harnessed differently. So what is this card? Pleasure. Okay, so the pleasure card kind of reminds me of an Eight of Wands, Sagittarius energy, and maybe just fire energy in general, which can be our more creative, inspired nature. And I think when we grow up in the world, when we're little kids, we're pretty creative and inspired by a lot of things. But as we kind of go through life, we kind of get kind of conditioned by the world to make our life more about conforming to the world. And, all those dreams that we had, those seem silly. And, how could someone like me do that? And then sometimes we don't even realize, till later in life, like, you hear stories about people who something happened in their life, or they went to, say, a painting class, and it's like, oh my gosh, I love painting, or because of this accident, I started to write, or I started to paint, or I started to, read these books, or listen to this music, and it just kind of, wow, it can really light up an aspect within people that they didn't even realize was kind of buried. The moon can kind of represent our subconscious, and things that we didn't even know would be something that at some future point in time in our life would kind of really, if people would have asked us, do you think you would do this? If they'd asked us, say, when we were 20, no way. And then, we're 25 or 30, and like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing some of these things in my life that I never thought I would have the confidence to do, or that I thought would even interest me. But it could light a fire up within us. The other thing is, with initially kind of looking at this as Sagittarius energy, in high vibe, Sagittarius energy is about higher learning and education, and kind of wrapping your brain around this game of life, which is kind of like, I might live my life at this phase of life, but I don't plan to live my life at this phase of life all my life. I do plan to continue to grow and heal and mature myself. I am inspired to work through some of my fears, my insecurities, my self-limiting beliefs, to shed some of those so that I can see what isn't continuing to be beneficial or useful in my life, or I've outgrown, or I've healed from, or I've matured from. And then I want to move forward in life differently, and I want to keep adding to my foundation, and I want to keep doing like this sifting process throughout my life to, it's like shedding your skin. It's like a caterpillar transforming into a butterfly. And some people are kind of motivated and inspired to do that. They might not initially know that. I mean, when we're young, age 15, age 18, age 21 to age 25, we kind of do certain things, even though we might not want to. And even though we might have fear and insecurity, because we do have peer pressure, kind of like, oh my gosh, other people learned how to drive. Oh my gosh, I've got to go get a job. Oh my gosh, my mom and dad want me to go get a job. Oh my gosh, maybe I should go to college, or maybe I should, oh my gosh, I got to move out and get an apartment. I can't live in my mom's basement forever. So when we're young, we're kind of forced to, and we maybe would have some self-drive and motivation to do those things anyway. But then when we get to be an adult, we blend in with all the other adults in the world, and we can kind of pick and choose, where we want to be on the spectrum of how motivated and inspired we are to keep growing and healing and challenging ourselves and facing our fears. And other people could have been like, yeah, no, man. I think it's just and fair to make my life maybe about the world, about me, get a job, get in a relationship. I'm good. Let's just stay here and watch the rest of the world go do other things, but we're not going to go do other things. We're going to stay right here. In our little comfort zone bubble. And that's when we kind of realize that we could harness our Sagittarius energy, or our fire sign. How bold and brave and confident we are to face our fears and insecurities. And some people aren't even inspired to do that. It's like, no, this is how I wanted to do life. Shadowy worldly energy can be being caught more up about the world, conforming to the world. And I don't plan to give birth to anything new. Only if everybody in my life and in my neighborhood and in my family and in my friend group, if they all give birth to something new, then maybe I'd give birth to something new too. But otherwise, no, because high vibe energy is about being more independent in the world, shining your own authentic light, not letting your worldly nature, your fear, your ego, other people in your life keep you from living your more authentic life. But we have free will. We can make our life all about being caught up in the illusion of the world. Our self, our ego, our image, our lust, our greed, our immature, indulgent, prideful, bossy, or just materialistic, conforming to the world nature. And that's when we can realize, we come in contact with all these different people to help us get clear about our truth. And we could realize some people really like to stay in their comfort zone. And there could be a lot of things we liked about it because, people generally are putting in work and effort to have stability and security and enjoy some of the finer things in life. And they're in a relationship. And, for a long time, we could have thought, yeah, if I have those things, I'd be happy. But then we get in it. And if we're in a relationship, shadowy kind of worldly energy can be where it becomes stagnant and dead. We do it, and we did have lessons learned and growing and healing to do for a while, and then it's like, there's nothing new to learn here. What about out there? I think I'm going to do some work, maybe within myself. Didn't realize I needed to tell people, but that I'm just going to do this work. And that's what a card not showing itself also can mean, is that one person is kind of doing this work within themselves to work through their fears and insecurities, to want to not let those things manipulate them anymore, so they do keep moving forward in life and kind of going to the next phase of life. And then I think those type of people would offer that love and encouragement to the people that they're in a relationship with. And sometimes those people are like, no, this is the way I want to do it. This is how I have decided I want to live my life. You should want to live your life like this because it looks like we got it going on. It's great. And it's like, well, there might be a lot of things that are great about it, but it can end up seeming limiting and confining and restricting and imprisoning. And if they have things that manipulate them in life, if that's just the world and how you're supposed to live your life and do this, don't do that. And it's like, what about I just live my authentic life from love? Oh no, you can't do that. What would people say? No, you need to conform to the world. You need to maintain this illusion in the world that this is like, what about I'm not going to do anything bad. High vibe energy is I just want to be more authentically myself. I want to keep treating people with love and respect and treat them the way I want to treat them. I just don't want to let certain things or people or whatever kind of manipulate me from living my authentic life. And for some people, it's just like, oh my God, I need to get rid of you. You need to go. I do not live my life like that. And if you're not going to live your life like this, you need to go. And so then people, because it might instill some fear and insecurity about stepping out of their comfort zone and going into unknown territory and being more independent themselves, and in order to move forward with you that way, they would maybe have to do some inner work to figure out why they don't want to move forward in that way. And maybe they'd have to become more independent of some things that maybe they don't want to become independent of, or habits or ways of viewing life, or their illusion of what it means to be in a relationship. And for some of them, it could be, again, I thought this is how we were going to live life. I thought I had this way of viewing life, and I just thought you would make your life about viewing life like this too. It's like, but aren't we together going to create something new of our own? And shadowy energy too can be kind of wanting to go by this playbook. It's like, well, no, like I do this and you do that. And if I act like this, then you act like that. And if I say this, then you say that. To do something different that isn't by the playbook, or like how they've been in other relationships or how their mom and dad did a relationship, that is unknown territory. And I'd have to listen to love and intuition to guide me. That's unknown territory. What the hell? We're just going to go out on our own and make our own relationship? There's all these rules that we should listen to. There's a certain way that you're supposed to be in a relationship and you are not. And some people don't. They never take creative, inspired action to create their own authentic life. It can be like, this is what people say in their mind anyway. It's not like somebody gave them a playbook or a rule book. But our life is so much about what we think is true. And they have a way of thinking and viewing life, and their idea of the dream relationship and the way that they like to live life that they love, that maybe makes them feel safe and secure within themselves. And it could be to never be more creative, inspired, listen to their intuition, live their own authentic life. And that's when some people can realize, and then sometimes people will do shadowy things in order to try to make people stay. Like, I'm going to quit communicating with you. I'm going to quit being nurturing and loving to you, I'm going to do all these things to make you kind of fearful and afraid, maybe, in the hunger card, in lack, make you feel left out in the cold, to see if you're going to leave. And if I see that you're not going to leave, perfect, let's do it my way. And then we feel manipulated. I feel like, you're doing these things to see if, because of the love that I have for you, that you can manipulate me into staying in this relationship, even though nothing ever changes. And I'm starting to feel like, why are we in this relationship? Why are you in it? Is it because it's good for your ego and your image and it works for you? And you're okay letting whatever manipulates you keep you in this comfort zone? But whatever it is that manipulates you aren't things that manipulate me, or at least not anymore. And I want to move forward in life differently. And I would like you to come with me And eventually we kind of see the truth that we're on different pages. Maybe at a core foundational level. Some people are more about, I'm okay with this and living my life like this. And the other people are like, I want a relationship to grow and mature. I want us to be more independent. I want us to let love and intuition guide us versus fear or insecurity or pride or ego or codependency. And eventually we could see the truth that they've made their free will choice and nothing's going to change here. I can stay in it, and I can stay in it out of my fear and my want for these things and my fear of giving birth to something new and believing in myself. But I'd kind of feel like I'm just maintaining an illusion, and some of the shadowy people are just looking for someone who will help them maintain an illusion because it works for them. Let's have this new beginning that seems to be like we've gotten justice in the world. We've got the things that other people have. Yay, let's do this. And it's like, but other people really are kind of continuing to grow and heal and mature and give birth to their own unique thing. Oh no, we can't do that. I have fear and insecurity about that. And that's then too, and we can see where maybe some people just want to be in a relationship to harness shadowy Sagittarius energy, which is being an immature player. Or I'm hiding the fact that the reason I even have a more intimate, involved relationship with you is because I just want you to keep being in a relationship with me to maintain this illusion that I've moved on. I have justice in the world, but I don't even like you or even attracted to you. But it's for some people in their ego nature, it's so important to maintain this illusion in the world that their life is going great. You know, it's these people that are just so consumed with their ego and their image that will settle for the illusion and get in relationships, even if they're people they don't like, even if those people don't even seem to like them. You know, are you willing to stay in it so it looks like I've had this new beginning and I've gotten justice in the world? Because I'm afraid of giving birth to anything new or doing things any different. And then I think that can become, just like some people, their vice to feel better is drugs or booze or something like that. Some people, it's relationships, and it can get worse and worse. And for some people, it's money and materialism they think is the answer. And that becomes worse and worse. Enough is never enough. The desperation grows, you know. That's what I think anyway. Anyway, some people could have been in a relationship like that, and they realized something's wrong within this relationship. I might have changed and grown. The other person might have had something happen to them that kind of threw their life out of balance and put them more in fear or lack mentality. Looking for someone else to be the answer to their problems. Maybe hiding that they wanted to go be more of an immature player. Maybe when something happened in their life, it freed them to go live their more authentic life. And the way they had been living their life was the illusion. You know, we can be in relationships with people where they do seem like they're this pillar of society type person, and you think that's who they really are. And then something happens in their life where maybe some of the things or people in their life that they felt like they had to create this illusion about who they were aren't in their life anymore. And then their true nature comes out. Boy, I'm going to go live the life I want to go live. And it wasn't this. And that's when we realize, oh, wow, you know, that person wasn't who they said they were, you know. So both people, for different reasons, could want to get out of the relationship. The people that are more about themselves or being indulged or ego or image or whatever, they want to go get in relationships with people who are more aligned with how they want to live life. The people who want to be in more just and fair and balanced and loving relationships, they want to go find people who are on the same page as them. It's just the difference is the high vibe people have learned some lessons from this life experience, and they don't want to repeat this pattern. But the people that are in a shadowy worldly nature, they're not seeing how they could be motivated and inspired by their more immature nature, prideful nature, fearful nature, egotistical nature. And so they are going to kind of repeat an old pattern, because the truth sets us free to live our life differently. And they could still be taking action more out of fear, insecurity, lust, greed, something like that. And so they're going to repeat a pattern that some other people in their life are not willing to go on that journey with them or live their life like that anymore, or go live their life that way with them. So what we wanted to create and manifest, what drove and motivated us, was different. And shadowy, more worldly Capricorn energy, Capricorn energy can be about what I think is a legacy in life. And some people, it's more about, boy, I'm going to indulge myself in this lifetime, or I'm going to make it all about me. Boy, if someone doesn't let me be bossy and controlling or bitchy or witchy or whatever, I'm not staying, or it's about money and status and power. And other people have learned some lessons in life and have learned that love is what makes all the things worthwhile. And yes, they also want some of these things of the world, but they're not willing to sacrifice loving, nurturing, supportive, their own loving nature to indulge our more immature nature. And they've learned that I'm willing to sacrifice some of those worldly things to have a more balanced life, because I do want loving and nurturing and supportive people in my life. And it's not just about me and my needs and my wants and my lust and my greed. If I'm going to work with other people, I have to respect that they have their own wants and needs and desires that they want to manifest. And other people are just like, no, it's just going to be all about me and what I want. I would be very selfish, worldly Capricorn energy, our more beastly, devilish nature, right? And some people, because they want a legacy, I'm willing to give up loving relationships to pursue somehow maybe getting a plaque on a wall when I die about how much money or power or influence I had. So let's go look at the top row. We have fear, trust, the path, and boundaries. To go live our life differently, it's about facing our fears we have about trusting and believing in our dreams and listening to our intuition and love to guide the decisions we make versus our more immature, fearful, insecure nature. And it's kind of like in our more worldly human nature, we can be tempted to live our life in our more worldly, beastly nature. But if we align with our more divine nature, just like the animals, in a way that they've all been given unique talent, skills, and interests, and like bats have sonar and birds and butterflies know to fly to a warmer climate when it gets cold, we were given the gift of intuition too. We can let our fear and our insecurity and our lust and our greed, we can let our mind run our life, we can let our emotions run our life. We're meant to have mastery over our worldly, beastly nature, to not be a slave to those things. Like nature itself kind of maintains balance within itself. And if we kind of love and appreciate our beastly nature and offer it love and compassion and forgiveness, and we start believing in our dreams and listening to our intuition, which was given to us as a gift, then, it helps us look at life from a higher perspective and believe that we're here for a higher purpose than just to be like another animal on the planet acting in a beastly, savage, self-centered nature. That there's a higher purpose. life-giving energy is trying to give birth to new things. If everybody keeps repeating the same old pattern, how are we ever going to give birth to anything new? And if we keep letting our fears and insecurities block us from listening to our intuition, our fear and all those things are going to run our life. And high vibe people don't like to feel manipulated by their own shadow nature or other people. And they listen to their intuition and align with like life-giving energy of my intuition is telling me there's something wrong here. My intuition is telling me like this is tipped out of balance or this is not just and fair in a lot of ways. But that's like the devil represents our shadow nature and our worldly nature. Yeah, it can all look great, but is it based on love? Is it aligned with my truth? Or am I living a life of indulgence or illusion or fear? And they emotionally do that work to keep life in perspective. I'm probably going to live 80 years. Can I have some hope and faith and belief that if I'm patient and I keep putting in work and effort not to take action out of my more immature worldly nature, that my dreams could come into reality? And then the boundaries card, kind of like a 9 of Wands card of Sagittarius energy. You know, sometimes we have to protect our more emotionally intuitive nature from our more worldly beastly nature and other more worldly beastly people in the world who might want to have new beginnings with us. But they're operating from lust and greed and pride and ego and codependency. It's like, no. If I know I'm a loving, nurturing person who's being authentic and just and fair and encouraging in my relationships, I might want some things in the world too, but I've learned lessons in life that if I take action out of my more shadowy nature and I don't keep taking action in truth and love and authenticity and truth, I'm going to repeat some pattern of learning some hard lessons. And I'm tired of learning hard lessons. So I'm going to get out of my worldly egoic nature and I'm going to stay focused on believing in my dreams and listening to love and intuition to guide the decisions I make. And even though it might feel a little restrictive and confining at times, having good boundaries within myself, having good boundaries to other people, the only way my dreams can come into reality is someone is on the same page as me. Otherwise, I'm in another mismatched relationship. And if those people want to go live this life with someone else, then so be it. And some of those people are. And some of those people in the unexpected card are going to watch you manifest your dreams into reality while they stay in their comfort zone. Maybe not taking creative-inspired action. Maybe being in jealousy and envy and regret. Because they weren't willing to take the action to work through their own fears and insecurities, to have some open faith and belief in their dreams, to have good boundaries to their own shadow nature and other people in their life or the world that tries to manipulate them. To do this process of trying to give birth to something new. And they kept giving in to their more worldly or prideful or codependent or lustful nature to make them feel better. And I guess the people who are on the same page as them will keep staying in a relationship with them. Or if they get in a relationship with someone else again who has hope and faith and belief in love and in their dreams, the same pattern is going to repeat again. And eventually that person will feel like, I feel left out in the cold in this relationship. I know it looks like I have everything, but it's kind of missing that creative spark of hope and faith and belief and love. Because the other person operates more from about themselves their wants, their needs, their lusts, their greed, their pride, their ego, wanting the scales of justice tipped in their favor, and for people to indulge them in some of these shadowy ways of being that are not built on a foundation from love. It's like, well, I'm having sex with you. It looks good. It looks just. It looks fair. We should stay. It's like, what about love? Well, this is like love. Having sex with someone is different than having someone who you make love to. But some people have yet to learn that lesson, and some people won't learn it. Because they may be people who are kind of emotionally detached, emotionally superficial and shallow, don't want to connect in with their more emotionally intuitive nature. And it really ends up, you kind of feel like it is a superficial and shallow relationship. So, anyway, the high vibe people move on, give birth to something new, have good boundaries within themselves, and they are manifesting something new. And as they're doing it, there could be other people in your life and other people that see you, and some of those people don't want to be left behind. So they're doing this work within themselves to free themselves from the issues that kind of manipulate them, because they want to be and continue to work with you if they're already in your life, and they want to be free like you're free of some things, to be more independent. And they know if they want to be in that relationship with you, they have got to free themselves from the things that manipulate them. So, what's coming up for people who harness some high vibe, Capricorn energy that they might not see coming up? Okay, we have the Death card, the Seven of Cups, the Queen of Wands kind of hiding behind it, the King of Swords, and this card not showing itself. And the reason they came out is because of the High Priestess card. The High Priestess is Pisces Cancer energy. So we live our life a certain way based on the age we are, our emotional maturity, how we view the world. And it was perfectly fine for us to live our life that way for a while because we had lessons learned. But when it no longer has that spark of life to it, it seems like it's stagnant, it's dead, like there's nothing new to learn here. My intuition is calling me and telling me it's time for me to move forward to the next phase of life. But I have fears about going to that next phase of life. So the Death card is like it's dead and stagnant, and it's time to transform our life, is what our intuition is telling us. To kind of get out of our illusions and our emotional confusion that we could be in and we could stay in, because it kind of hides in the Queen of Wands and Leo energy that there's a part of us that wants to keep living life the way we were living it, because we're kind of in our ego, maybe about speaking our truth, or we've been kind of tipped out of balance. And if we do this work within ourselves and we do see the truth and we act on the truth, we're going to have to speak our truth. And for a long time, we maybe weren't even realizing why we weren't seeing the truth. And part of it was maybe kind of subconsciously, we didn't want to see the truth, because then it means we have to take action on the truth and we have to speak our truth. And, we can maybe not be confident enough within ourselves and high vibe Leo energy to see that. And that could have been what was kind of buried beneath the surface, which this whole life experience could have been about. Again, we live a certain phase of life, we come into contact with certain people to find out, is this aligned with my truth or is it not? And we can have these aspects within ourselves that we really haven't tapped into, which is maybe being more creative and inspired to be more authentically ourselves and stand in our truth and speak our truth and to be more balanced within ourselves. And for some people, this life experience did all of that. It was to help you become some aspects of yourself that you maybe weren't embracing before. You could have thought you were bold and brave and confident and speaking your truth and being just and fair, but this could have really challenged you to a new level of it, like a more mature level of it, more confident level of it. No longer settling for the illusion, staying in your ego and doing whatever you were doing because it seemed just and fair. It's like, I no longer see it as just and fair. I've been doing it long enough, and I am done with maintaining this illusion and being in my ego and my fear, living more from my mind than my heart. My intuition is telling me to detach from harnessing these energies in a shadowy way and to start harnessing these energies in a more high vibrational way. And it can be realizing we were caught up in the illusion of ego and what we thought was just and fair. And it could have been our fear. It could have been our insecurity. It could have been our ideas of what we thought was the ideal relationship or blah, blah. And we found it emotionally shallow and superficial. And we also could have felt like we were being manipulated. And we could have found ourselves in relationships with people who were happy we lived our life that way. And then we had to learn to love and believe in ourselves and be more independent, more confident within ourselves. Because then, I don't know, it worked for them and they thought it was just and fair. Or they were kind of bossy and controlling or something and we weren't seeing it initially. And then this card, Six of Cups, not showing itself. The Six of Cups can talk about repeating a pattern. And we all will repeat a pattern of way of living life until we learn the lesson we were meant to learn from it. And then it's like, yep, I don't want to repeat that pattern anymore. Been there, done that. And it could be, I can see where I used to stay in my comfort zone. I could see where I wasn't tapped into my more creative, inspired, fiery nature. You know, again, because that could be our more authentic nature in a way. And it does kind of get squished down in life, you know, about you don't want to stand out. You don't really want to be unique. You don't want to, you know, it's all this thing about conforming, you know. And it can take time for us to kind of reconnect back in with it. And we also could have wanted to stay in our comfort zone. It didn't require us to deal with our own fears. And if I stay in my comfort zone where I know how to deal with people like this, then I don't have to go deal with people that act differently or are more mature or more stable or something, because I don't know how to deal with people that are like that. But some people are like, I'm done with the illusion. I'm done repeating a certain pattern of a way of viewing relationships or myself. I don't want to be in emotionally shallow, superficial relationships. I don't want to be in a relationship with people who aren't operating from a foundation of love. I could have used to being in a relationship with people who operate more from their egoic or defensive or prideful nature. That could have been my comfort zone. I'm done. I have realized I do want deep, meaningful relationships. And I am inspired to stand in my truth and maintain balance within myself, listen to my intuition. And high vibe Leo and high vibe King of Swords is, you know, I treat people the way I want to be, that I like to be treated, and I should be treated that way in return. I'm open, I'm authentic, warm, giving, encouraging. And the high vibe people have reconciled themselves with the past. And that's why they're free to go live their life differently. Because they did the work within themselves to heal from it. It's not like they just shoved it in a corner and said, oh, that's over and I'm just not going to deal with it. They dealt with the pain, the heartbreak, the fear, the insecurity to move forward in life. The other people, the truth sets them free, but they haven't seen the truth of some things that they might not want to see the truth of. And we can't make other people love and believe in themselves. We can't make people get over their shadowy ways of viewing life and relationships. They got to do that work and be willing to want to see the truth themselves. And I think the The Death card is Scorpio energy, so is the Six of Cups. And it is about our deep emotional connections with people. So initially we can kind of distance ourselves from some people and not hang around some people, but it can take doing this work within ourselves before we really kind of emotionally detach. And that's when we also, with some of those people, it's like, yeah, I would not want to be in that type of relationship again with you. With some of the people, we know that they can be stubborn, prideful, bossy, controlling, egotistical, manipulative, defensive, more about themselves, and they think it's just and fair. You know? And it's like, yeah, no, I've seen the truth about you now. No, I would not want to get back in a relationship with you. And once we do that work within ourselves, that's when we'll be ready. And we've really, people don't want to just go get in another relationship. Well, I'm sad. I feel left out in the cold. We could have done that in the past and it didn't work out so well. And again, we're these emotionally complex people. I don't want to get in a relationship with someone just to be in a relationship with them. But some of the other people might. Look, I've gotten in a new relationship. Look, I've moved on. Look, I've healed. Look. And really? Why are you in a relationship? Is it truth and love? Or is it just because, I don't know, something shadowy? Other people do this work within themselves so that they can be emotionally detached from that last relationship and they're ready to really be in a new relationship. And when they're ready, that's when they will take this action to speak their truth and, seeing who is working with me in my life to work together with me in this way and who isn't. And I can only work with the people in my life who are willing to work with me. And if I want my dreams to come into reality, I need to see through my own illusions that could keep me staying kind of feeling left out in the cold, and I keep focused on what I want to manifest. And I think as you do that, there's going to be other people that see that you are in this high vibrational energy, and the people who are intuitive about that and are on that same page as that will want to be in those type of relationships with you because they also have been in relationships with some kind of more worldly, shadowy people. And they know they would be in a just and fair and creative and inspired and loving, warm relationship with you. Because you're not someone who repeats these poor past patterns like some other people do. And you're not emotionally shallow and superficial like some other people. And those are the people you're going to move forward with and get the justice you deserve. What's coming up for the people who might harness a more worldly, shadowy Capricorn energy that they might not see coming up? The Seven of Swords, because of the Chariot card. Well, for the people who were maybe trying to manipulate people, control people, not being truthful and honest and just and fair, what they didn't see coming is, yes, they were trying to emotionally confuse people. The Seven of Swords is trying to deceive and manipulate other people. Trying to confuse people about the truth of who they are and what their intentions are. But the high vibe people in their life harness this energy in a high vibe way. And they weren't willing to give up their dreams. And they looked at life from a higher perspective. And they put in that work to distance themselves from people who are being unkind, unfair, unjust, weren't acting with character and integrity, to keep listening to their intuition. Why? Well, for one, they believe in their dreams. The Seven of Swords is Aquarius energy, represented by the Star card. They have a dream. And how are they able to do this? From love. Love is the answer. They love themselves to keep believing in their dreams. The Chariot is Cancer energy. loving themselves, believing in their dreams, loving themselves enough to get in the driver's seat of their own life, offer themselves love and compassion and forgiveness to get balance within themselves, offset their fears and their insecurities and past pain and heartbreak, to not give up on their dreams, and they move forward victoriously. Instead of giving up their dreams and staying with some people who are like this, they just let go of these people. I will let go of you. I will not let go of my dreams. And some of the shadowy people did not see that coming, because they never do that. So they didn't think you would either. And they didn't think the King of Swords has the Ace of Swords there. You've worked through all the mental confusion and illusion of the Seven of Swords and the Seven of Cups. You're not acting in a just and fair way. You're not speaking the truth. You're not acting with character and integrity. You are being kind of manipulative or prideful or something shadowy. And yeah, I found it confusing, because I thought we were going to move together forward in a loving friendship or relationship. But you're not doing that. And yeah, I found it very confusing. I didn't understand why you were doing this. And sometimes I don't have to understand why you're doing it. I just have to say, no to myself, you're acting in a shadowy way. I'm going to distance myself. The people in my life who seem to be acting out of fear and insecurity and pride and ego and probably trying to instill that, create that within me, no. I'm going to protect myself emotionally. I'm going to keep walking the talk, keep maintaining balance within myself, and you can either stay back there or you can come with, but in order to come with, you got to put an end to the illusion and the ego and thinking the way that you're acting is just and fair. And you have to speak the truth. And if you're not willing to do that, then enjoy the people that you're in a relationship with. And what some of the shadowy people don't see coming is there's going to be other people that view life the way they do. Other people that got mental conflict about loving and believing in themselves, who will want to move forward with them in a relationship. And if those people are people who could be loving, but they just haven't learned to love themselves or got some things to work through, they'll get in a relationship with this person. It's like God uses everyone for God's good purposes. Oh, these shadowy people, they end up serving a purpose. We don't let them go to waste. We have other people who have some lessons to learn, get in a relationship with them to help them see through the illusion. Because some of these people could be people who present themselves as harnessing high vibe Capricorn, even though they don't. And I view the King of Pentacles as high vibe Capricorn. I'm the stable, grounded, loving, nurturing person that people should want to go into business with, should want to hire, promote, marry, date. But they're really these people who could be stubborn, lack creativity and imagination. Like it's all a facade. Like there's someone who presents themselves as having a lot of substance to them, but they don't. High vibe King of Pentacles would be more male or female, would be like 8, 9, and 10 of Pentacles. Someone who's done this inner work, has learned lessons in life, is very stable and grounded and self-aware and balanced and nurturing. And the Hunger card is like the 5 of Pentacles. They have a lot of healing, growing, and maturing to do, but they might kind of think, I don't have to do that because maybe I do have these certain traits, qualities, or characteristics in the world that make me look like I got it going on in the world. I'm successful. But then they use those things to try to get people in a relationship with them, and then as trying to deceive and manipulate them to keep moving forward with them in a relationship, presenting themselves as being loving, but they're being deceitful. It's like all a mental chess game. I'm not really someone who's going to manifest that, but I want you to think I am. I'm going to try to deceive and manipulate you, make you think I'm this emotionally balanced, loving, victorious, successful person, but I'm not. And we reap what we sow. Because some of these people didn't act with character and integrity and weren't willing to do this work within themselves to free themselves from what manipulates them, they're aligning with their shadowy nature, which is their shadowy Aquarius, Capricorn energy. I think I'm a shining star. I think I can be victorious and successful in the world anyway. I don't think I have to do love. I don't think I have to do this work within myself. There's going to be people who want to come be in a relationship with them. And most likely they'll try to deceive and manipulate someone else. But again, if they're a loving person, and what some of them could be experiencing right now is being left out in the cold again. Because the people they get in relationship kind of want to give birth to something new. Like, I want the dream to come into reality. And they're like, oh, no, not willing to do that. And so then the other people are like, okay. And they move on. And the people who would maybe be willing to keep staying in a relationship with these people could be people like them. Other people who live more from their mind than their heart, who use their emotions manipulatively in a relationship. That would be people who harness shadowy Cancer energy. Present themselves as emotionally loving people, but they just use their emotions manipulatively for their ego and their image and their status and to be in a relationship. And that would be a just and fair relationship. Getting in a relationship with someone who's like themselves. Someone else who might be stubborn or prideful or egotistical or defensive to getting out of their ego and admitting they have any healing or growing and maturing to do. And they'll probably stay in it if that person's willing to stay in it. Because by worldly standards, all they wanted was to look like they were victorious in life, that they have what other people have. It's just that theirs is more of just an illusion. The other people's is the real deal. And theirs might be, again, shadowy Taurus and Capricorn is, I just want to look like I have those things without really having to maybe be more authentic or to have to heal or grow or mature myself. And I think at some future point in time, and maybe all their life, the Seven of Swords can be about having a lot of mental conflict, because there's a part of them that could know, or it's nagging at them, that the reason why they're in these relationships is more for these shadowy reasons than love. But they could keep staying in denial of it all their life. And their more high vibe Pisces Cancer energy is the aspect of themselves that's left out in the cold. And they have that free will to do it. It's like we have this dualistic nature. One aspect or the other is going to be kind of like in the driver's seat of our life, and the other one's going to be sitting in the back seat saying, I think we should do things differently. I don't think we should be doing this. The high vibe people have their shadow nature in the back seat, being like a good parent to their more immature worldly nature. That's okay. We're going to get where we're going, honey. We're just going to go about it in truth and love and acting with character and integrity. Calm down. And these people have their loving nature in the back seat, and their shadow nature is driving their life. So odds are they're not probably going to end up in the same destination. So there you go, Capricorn. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.